The content in this podcast is fully AI generated based on real news articles. Listener discretion is advised. For more detailed information and the original context, please refer to the links provided in the show notes, which direct you to the news articles this podcast is based on. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to the AI Tech News Podcast. This is our 23rd episode, and we've got a packed lineup today. Joining me are our regular co-hosts, Joanne and Jessica.
Hey everyone. I'm really excited to dive into today's topics. There's so much happening in the AI world.
Hi all. Can't wait to unpack these updates, especially with how rapidly AI is evolving.
All right, let's get started with our first article of the episode. According to Slate, Google I/O 2024 revealed some major changes to their AI updates. Joanne, what's going on with Google's search engine?
Well, John, it's pretty huge. Google is transforming its search engine into what they call a search generative experience. Basically, they're integrating the Gemini chatbot to give an AI overview at the top of search results, which might crowd out other links.
That sounds a bit concerning. If the AI is generating the top answers, won't that affect the visibility of other reliable sources?
Exactly, Jessica. And what's more, SEO experts have noticed drastic updates to the Google search algorithm that have significantly reduced visibility for many major information websites.
Wow, that's intense. So they're making these changes quietly, and it's hitting a lot of websites hard.
Yes, and it seems to be affecting sites with a lot of inline ads and affiliate links the most. This has raised concerns about the quality and reliability of information being surfaced.
And it's not just that. Google News has been found to surface AI-generated pages that plagiarize content from other sites while burying reputable sources. It's a real mess.
So, what's Google saying about all this? Are they acknowledging these issues?
Not really. They seem to be focusing on promoting their new features and updates, despite the backlash. It's a bit of a smokescreen, if you ask me.
And there's more. Google's new web filter is supposed to help users find traditional web links, but it's hidden behind extra clicks, making it less accessible.
So, the tool we've relied on for years to navigate the web is becoming harder to use for finding trustworthy information.
Exactly. It's a concerning shift. Google's prioritizing new flashy AI features over the reliable search functionalities that made it a household name.
And with AI models still prone to hallucinating, making stuff up, this could be a real problem for users looking for accurate information.
This really changes the game for search engines and not necessarily for the better. Well, that's a wrap on our first topic. Let's move on to the next one. Our next topic is about Google adding a web filter to their search results, which highlights how their focus has shifted. Stay tuned. All right, let's dive into our second article from Ars Technica. It looks like Google Search has added a new web filter. Joanne, can you tell us more about this change?
Sure thing, John. During the Google I/O, they announced the rollout of the AI Overview feature, previously known as the Search Generative Experience. This feature is now live for everyone in the US and seems to be the biggest change to Google Search ever.
So what does this AI overview do exactly?
The AI Overview provides a summary at the top of search results, which is generated by scraping the web. It's supposed to give a quick answer without users having to click on any links.
That sounds convenient, but is it reliable? I've heard that AI can sometimes get things wrong.
That's a great point, John. Google claims it's faster and more efficient now, often caching these AI answers to improve speed. However, it doesn't always get it right, and there are times when the AI Overview isn't available at all.
And what about the traditional web results? How does this new feature affect those?
It significantly pushes down the traditional results. You have to scroll a lot to find the usual 10 blue links. The AI Overview, along with other sections like People Also Ask and Videos, take up the first few pages of the search results.
So it sounds like finding reliable, traditional search results has become much harder.
Exactly. Google has added a web filter to bring back the old-school web results, but it's buried in the More section. Even when you find it, the results are still dominated by SEO-optimized sites rather than high-quality pages.
That seems counterproductive. If people have to dig to find reliable information, it could really harm the user experience.
Absolutely. Google claims that links in AI overviews get more clicks than traditional web listings, but it's hard to believe. Most people just read the summary and move on, which doesn't help the original content creators.
So the AI overview might be convenient, but it's potentially damaging for web publishers who rely on clicks and traffic.
And it sounds like it's also making it harder for power users who want to get detailed, verbatim results from their searches.
This really changes the way we interact with search engines. It'll be interesting to see how this develops and if users push back against these changes.
Definitely something to watch. All right, let's move on to our next topic.
Up next, we'll discuss a detailed look at Google's 70-page Gemini prompting guide. Stay tuned. Our next topic comes from XDA developers. They reviewed Google's 70-page Gemini prompting guide. Joanne, what's the big takeaway from this guide?
The main takeaway is that creating effective prompts for Gemini requires careful consideration of several factors: persona, task, context, and format. Google advises against using prompts that are too short or too long.
So it's all about finding that sweet spot in prompt length. What else did they mention?
Yes, Jessica. Google suggests that prompts around 21 words long are most effective. They also emphasize the importance of being specific and using complete sentences.
Interesting. What about the responsibilities of using Gemini? Did the guide mention anything about that?
Absolutely. The guide makes it clear that any mistakes made by Gemini are the user's responsibility. It's crucial to review, verify, and provide feedback on the outputs to ensure accuracy.
That makes sense. So, users need to treat Gemini almost like a team member who needs clear instructions and feedback. What are some practical tips they provided?
They recommend breaking up tasks into clear, concise prompts, giving specific constraints, assigning roles, asking for feedback, and considering the tone of the response. For example, you wouldn't use the same tone for a casual email and an important client message.
I like the idea of asking for feedback. It makes the interaction more dynamic and ensures better results.
And rephrasing prompts if needed can help get better outputs. It's all about communicating effectively with the AI.
Exactly. The guide also points out that the final output is the user's responsibility. Even with the best prompts, verification is essential.
Sounds like there's a lot to consider when working with AI tools like Gemini. It's not just plug and play. You need to be actively involved in the process.
Yes, and it's great to have such detailed guidance from Google. It really helps in leveraging the tool effectively.
All right, that's a wrap on this topic. Let's move on to our next discussion. Next, we'll talk about how ChatGPT now allows users to upload files directly from Google Drive and OneDrive. Stay tuned. All right, folks, our next topic is about a new feature in ChatGPT that allows users to upload files directly from Google Drive and OneDrive. This news comes from The Verge. Jessica, can you break this down for us?
Sure, John. OpenAI has announced that paying ChatGPT users will soon be able to add files directly from their Google Drive or OneDrive accounts without needing to download and re-upload them.
That sounds super convenient. So who exactly gets access to this feature?
The feature is rolling out to ChatGPT Plus, Enterprise, and Teams users. These users just need to give the chatbot access to their Google Drive or OneDrive accounts.
What kind of files can ChatGPT handle with this new integration?
OpenAI says ChatGPT can read through Excel, Word, and PowerPoint files, as well as their Google equivalents more quickly. This integration is powered by GPT-4o, the faster and improved version of GPT-4.
That's a big step forward. I imagine it will be especially useful for data analysis. How does this improve ChatGPT's capabilities?
Users can now ask ChatGPT to run Python codes for analytics, merge or clean datasets, and create charts directly from the files. It's a significant enhancement in its data handling abilities.
Speaking of charts, I heard that there are some new interactive features. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, ChatGPT can now make charts that users can interact with. You can expand the table's view, customize the data visualization by changing colors, and ask additional questions about the cells. It supports bar, line, pie, and scatter plot charts for interactive visualizations.
That's really impressive. It seems like this will make data analysis a lot more user-friendly and accessible.
Definitely. This update could save users a lot of time and make it easier to work with complex data sets. Any final thoughts on this, Jessica?
I think it's a fantastic addition. It streamlines the workflow and enhances the overall functionality of ChatGPT, especially for those who deal with large amounts of data regularly.
All right, that's a wrap on this topic. Let's move on to our next article. Next, we'll be discussing Hugging Face's commitment of $10 million in free shared GPUs. Stay tuned. Moving on, our next article is about Hugging Face committing $10 million in free shared GPUs to help developers. This report comes from The Verge. Joanne, can you tell us more about this initiative?
Sure, John. Hugging Face is investing $10 million in free shared GPUs to support small developers, academics, and startups. The goal is to counter the centralization of AI advancements and make state-of-the-art AI accessible to more people.
That's a significant commitment. How are they able to do this?
Hugging Face CEO Clem DeLong mentioned that the company is profitable or close to profitable and recently raised $235 million in funding, valuing the company at $4.5 billion. This financial stability allows them to make such investments.
It sounds like they're really trying to level the playing field. What challenges do smaller AI startups face in competing with tech giants?
One of the main challenges is access to computational resources. Large tech companies have billions of dollars to spend on computational power, which allows them to advance rapidly. This initiative by Hugging Face aims to provide shared GPUs to help bridge that gap.
How exactly does this shared GPU program work?
The program, called Zero GPU, makes GPUs accessible to multiple users or applications concurrently. This way, if a portion of the GPU capacity is not actively used, it becomes available for someone else. It's cost-effective and energy efficient.
That's interesting. So these GPUs are hosted on Hugging Face's Spaces platform, right?
Yes, exactly. Spaces is a hosting platform where over 300,000 AI demos have been created. Zero GPU will use NVIDIA A100 GPUs, which offer significant computational power for these shared tasks.
This seems like a great opportunity for small developers and researchers. What's the larger vision behind this initiative?
Hugging Face wants to decentralize AI development. DeLong believes that open-source AI will allow more organizations, nonprofits, and policymakers to participate in AI, preventing a concentration of power in a few large corporations.
That's a commendable goal. It's important to have diverse contributions in AI development to avoid monopolies.
Absolutely. And with open-source AI catching up to proprietary models, initiatives like these are crucial. It's good to see companies like Hugging Face taking steps to support the broader community.
Indeed. This investment could pave the way for significant advancements in AI. Let's keep an eye on how this develops. Now let's move on to our next topic. Next, we'll discuss the rise of annoying AI voice assistants and concerns about Siri. Stay tuned for more insights. All right, let's dive into our next topic from CNET. It's about the potential changes coming to Siri with Apple's next iOS update. Joanne, can you give us a rundown?
Sure, John. Apple is expected to unveil new AI enhancements to Siri at the upcoming WWDC. The New York Times reports that Apple wants to give Siri generative AI capabilities, similar to ChatGPT.
Generative AI for Siri. That sounds interesting. But what does that mean in practical terms?
It means Siri could potentially understand the context of questions in a conversation much better, making it more interactive and useful. However, there are concerns about making Siri too human-like.
Interesting. So the idea is to make Siri smarter and more conversational, but there are worries about it becoming too much like a human. Why is that a concern?
Well, this week, ChatGPT 4.0 was revealed with a flirty personality, giggling and complimenting users. It created an ick feeling for many because it entered the uncanny valley, where it sounds almost human but not quite, which can be unsettling.
Ah, I see. And it's not just ChatGPT. Google's Gemini AI tools also try to sound more human by adding ums and emotional inflections. It's like they're trying to replicate human speech patterns.
Right, and there's a concern that Apple might follow this trend. Bloomberg reports that Apple is considering integrating ChatGPT and Google's Gemini into iPhones. That could mean Siri starts to sound more like these AI models.
Exactly. The worry is that Siri might lose its efficiency and start focusing more on sounding human, which could be off-putting. Instead, some hope that Apple will focus on making Siri a better assistant without trying to fake a human personality.
And there's also the issue of privacy. If Siri becomes more advanced, how will Apple ensure that our data remains secure and private?
That's a key concern. People want AI that respects their privacy while being efficient. Hopefully, Apple can balance these improvements with strong privacy measures.
It's going to be interesting to see how Apple navigates this. They have a chance to set a new standard for AI assistants. All right, let's move on to our next article. Next, we'll discuss an opinion piece from the New York Times about why AI won't solve the problem of loneliness. Stay tuned. Our next article is an opinion piece from the New York Times about AI and loneliness. Joanne, what's the main argument here?
The article argues that AI, despite its advancements, cannot solve the problem of loneliness. The author believes that AI companions might interfere with genuine human connections.
That's an interesting point. What examples do they give to support this argument?
The article references a piece from Andreessen Horowitz that talks about AI companions potentially becoming better than real human relationships. It also mentions OpenAI's new GPT-4o, which can interpret and respond in text, audio, and image, mimicking human emotions.
So the concern is that these AI advancements could replace real human interactions.
Exactly. The article points out that while AI chatbots can be helpful, they can't replace the human touch and the deeper connection we get from real interactions. Loneliness is more than just having someone to talk to. It's about meaningful connections.
That makes sense. There's a big difference between talking to a chatbot and having a real human relationship. What does the article say about AI's potential benefits?
AI chatbots can be incredibly useful for certain tasks, like assisting visually impaired individuals or providing basic companionship. But the article emphasizes that they shouldn't be seen as a replacement for real human interaction.
I see. It sounds like the article is advocating for a balanced approach to using AI, leveraging its strengths without expecting it to fulfill all our emotional needs.
Exactly. The author is cautioning against relying too heavily on AI for emotional support, which could lead to a greater sense of isolation in the long run.
And it's important to remember that human touch and real conversations are irreplaceable. AI can assist, but it can't fully replicate the warmth of human interaction.
Well said, Jessica. It's a thought-provoking piece. Let's keep that in mind as we move forward with technology. Now let's move on to our next article. Next, we'll discuss the actual threats to jobs posed by AI, according to an expert. This one's from Fox Business. Stay tuned. Our next topic is from Fox Business, discussing the real threat of AI to jobs. Jessica, can you tell us what the expert had to say?
Absolutely, John. Lawrence Liu, Director for AI Innovation at AI Singapore, mentioned during a panel discussion that the real threat isn't AI replacing jobs directly, but rather people who know how to use AI outperforming those who don't.
That's an interesting perspective. So it's not about AI taking jobs, but about the competition between workers who use AI and those who don't.
Exactly. Liu emphasized the importance of workers developing skills to effectively utilize AI tools like ChatGPT. He likened AI to a hardworking intern that needs clear, detailed instructions to perform tasks well.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about adapting to new tools and using them to enhance productivity. What did the Microsoft and LinkedIn Work Trend Index report say about this?
The report found that 45% of knowledge workers worldwide are worried that AI will replace them. However, the real concern should be about how to integrate AI into their workflow to stay competitive.
And it seems like many professionals are already catching on. The report noted that the use of AI tools among knowledge workers has nearly doubled in the past 6 months, with 75% acknowledging they use AI.
So there's a clear trend towards embracing AI in the workplace. But why are some employees keeping their AI usage quiet?
Some employees might be hesitant to share their AI usage because they fear it might make them seem replaceable or less valuable if their work can be easily automated.
That's a valid concern. However, being transparent about using AI could also showcase one's ability to adapt and leverage new technologies, which is a valuable skill.
Indeed, it's all about how you present it and the value you bring to the table with these new tools. Any final thoughts on this, Jessica?
I think it's crucial for workers to continuously upskill and stay ahead of technological trends. Using AI effectively can significantly enhance productivity and make workers indispensable in their roles.
Great points. This is a trend we'll definitely keep an eye on. Now, let's move on to our next article. Next up, we'll talk about how AI is taking over accounting jobs as people leave the profession. Stay tuned. Our next topic comes from Forbes, discussing how AI is taking over accounting jobs as people leave the profession. Joanne, what's the situation here?
The accounting profession is facing a significant talent shortage. Experienced accountants are leaving for other careers like finance and banking, and fewer students are pursuing accounting degrees. This creates a critical gap in the industry.
That's a serious issue. How are companies coping with this shortage?
One way is through AI and automation. For example, Puzzle, an accounting startup, is leveraging AI to streamline accounting and financial management. This helps fill the gap left by the talent shortage.
So AI is stepping in to handle the tasks that used to require human accountants. How effective is this approach?
Very effective, especially for startups. Puzzle's AI-powered software automates core tasks like transaction entry, reconciliation, and categorization. This reduces human error and provides real-time financial insights.
It sounds like AI could be a game changer for accounting. But why are accountants leaving the profession in the first place?
Several factors contribute to this exodus: long working hours, relatively modest pay, lack of work-life balance, and the looming threat of automation replacing their jobs. These challenges are pushing accountants to explore other roles.
The statistics are quite stark. More than 300,000 accountants and auditors left their jobs between 2019 and 2021, and the number of accountants in the U.S. has fallen by nearly 16% since 2019.
That's a significant drop. So AI like Puzzle's software is not just a temporary fix, but a necessary evolution for the industry.
Exactly. Puzzle aims to support startups by providing a comprehensive financial intelligence platform. This ensures that founders can make informed financial decisions without needing deep accounting expertise.
It's fascinating to see how technology is reshaping traditional industries. Any final thoughts on this topic, Jessica?
AI in accounting is a prime example of how automation can address skill shortages and improve efficiency. It's crucial for companies to embrace these technologies to stay competitive and resilient.
Well said. This is certainly a trend to watch. Let's move on to our next article. Next, we'll discuss a provocative statement by Palmer Luckey about the future of AI. Stay tuned. Our next topic comes from Gizmodo, where Palmer Luckey discusses the future of AI in warfare and its potential dangers. Joanne, what's the main point of his argument?
Palmer Luckey argues that it's a certainty AI will cause unintended deaths in future wars. He stresses the importance of keeping humans in the loop to ensure accountability and minimize civilian casualties.
That's a pretty grim outlook. Why does he believe AI will inevitably cause these casualties?
Luckey believes that as AI becomes more integrated into military operations, there will inevitably be mistakes and unintended consequences. He thinks human oversight is crucial to drive better solutions and reduce errors.
So he's advocating for a balanced approach, using AI, but ensuring humans remain in control to mitigate risks.
Exactly. While he acknowledges the potential dangers of AI, he also believes it can address current issues that are even more harmful, suggesting that current technologies sometimes pose greater risks.
Luckey has a background in tech and defense, right? How does his experience influence his views?
Yes, he founded Oculus and now runs Anduril, a company with significant defense contracts. His experience in both tech innovation and defense likely shapes his understanding of AI's potential and its risks.
It's interesting that he points out his political donation led to his exit from Meta. How does this aspect of his background play into his current work?
Luckey mentioned that despite being perceived as political, his involvement in tech and defense is more about innovation and security. His past experiences highlight the complex intersection of tech, politics, and defense.
And with Anduril's contracts with the Department of Defense, he's directly involved in developing these advanced systems. His perspective is definitely worth considering, given the scale of investment in defense technologies.
Absolutely. It's crucial to understand the implications of such advancements. Any final thoughts on this topic, Joanne?
It's a reminder of the ethical and practical challenges we face as AI becomes more integrated into critical areas like defense. Ensuring responsible use and maintaining human oversight are key.
Well said. This is an area that will need careful consideration as we move forward. Let's move on to our next article. Next, we'll discuss a new AI discovery that looks like the dawn of true machine reasoning. Stay tuned for insights from Popular Mechanics. Next up, we have an article from Popular Mechanics discussing a new AI discovery that could be the dawn of true machine reasoning. Joanne, what's the story here?
This is an exciting development, John. Researchers at MIT have introduced libraries of abstraction to help AI models learn new tasks in ways that are neurologically similar to human reasoning. They hope this will improve the reasoning capabilities of large language models.
That's fascinating. So these libraries are supposed to mimic how humans abstract concepts and solve problems.
Exactly. The researchers have created 3 specific libraries: LILO, ADA, and LGA. Each one helps language models perform tasks that require a level of reasoning and abstraction similar to human thinking.
Can you explain how these libraries work in practical terms?
Sure. For example, LILO uses an algorithm called Stitch to identify abstractions. This helps language models apply common sense knowledge more effectively. ADA focuses on background reasoning, helping AI convert broad knowledge into specific actions, like cooking or task planning.
And what about LGA? How does it help AI?
LGA aids robots in completing complex tasks beyond simple image recognition. It uses a pre-trained language model to translate task descriptions into actionable steps. For instance, it helped Boston Dynamics robot Spot navigate tasks like picking up fruits or recycling bottles.
This sounds like a big leap forward. How have these libraries performed in tests?
The tests have shown significant improvements. For example, implementing these abstractions with GPT-4 saw task accuracy jump from 59% to 89% in tasks like placing chilled wine in a cabinet or crafting a bed in Minecraft.
It's amazing to see such a dramatic increase in accuracy. This could have huge implications for AI applications in various fields.
Indeed. These advancements highlight the incredible potential of AI, but also remind us of the complexity and power of the human mind. Any final thoughts, Joanne?
It's a thrilling time for AI research. While there's still a long way to go to fully replicate human reasoning, these steps are promising and could lead to significant advancements in AI capabilities.
Absolutely. It's a reminder of how far we've come and how much further we can go. Let's move on to our next article. Next, we'll discuss a new AI tool that speeds up brain tumor classification. Stay tuned for insights from Neuroscience News. Our next topic is from Neuroscience News, covering a new AI tool called Deploy that speeds up brain tumor classification. Joanne, what's the scoop?
Deploy is an AI tool developed by researchers at the Australian National University. It can classify brain tumors into 10 major subtypes with an impressive 95% accuracy by analyzing microscopic images of tumor tissue.
That sounds groundbreaking. How does Deploy compare to current methods of diagnosing brain tumors?
Currently, the gold standard is DNA methylation-based profiling, which controls gene activity by turning genes on or off. However, this method can take several weeks and isn't available in most hospitals worldwide.
So Deploy offers a much faster and more accessible alternative. How exactly does it work?
Deploy uses histopathology images, microscopic pictures of a patient's tissue. The AI model was trained on large data sets of approximately 4,000 patients from the US and Europe, making it highly accurate.
What kind of impact could this tool have on patient care?
Deploy can provide a more clinically relevant diagnosis quickly, which is crucial for making timely treatment decisions. It can even prompt re-evaluation in cases where there's a disparity with initial pathologist diagnoses.
That's really impressive. The article also mentioned that Deploy could be used for other types of cancer in the future. Is that right?
Yes, the researchers believe that Deploy has the potential to classify other types of cancer as well, making it a versatile tool in oncology.
With such high accuracy and speed, Deploy could revolutionize how we diagnose and treat cancers, improving outcomes for many patients.
Absolutely. It's another example of how AI can significantly impact healthcare. Any final thoughts, Joanne?
Deploy showcases the potential of AI to enhance diagnostic precision and speed, ultimately leading to better patient care. It's a promising development in the fight against cancer.
Well said. Let's keep an eye on this tool and its future applications. Now let's move on to our next article. Next, we'll discuss how artificial intelligence is reshaping modern warfare. Stay tuned for insights from Fox News. Our next article is from Fox News, discussing how artificial intelligence is reshaping modern warfare. Joanne, what did you find interesting in this piece?
This article highlights how AI is becoming a crucial part of modern warfare. Companies like Govini and Palantir are developing high-tech weapon systems that integrate AI to improve efficiency and effectiveness.
How is AI being used in these weapon systems?
AI is being used in various ways, from analyzing battlefield data with mixed reality command and control goggles to creating more lethal and accurate weapons. These technologies help commanders make real-time decisions faster than ever.
Palantir's CEO, Alex Karp, had some strong statements about AI and its role in preventing conflicts. What did he say?
Karp emphasized that to prevent wars, especially with countries like China, the U.S. needs to ramp up its defense technology. He believes that having superior AI capabilities can deter adversaries and prevent conflicts.
That's a bold stance. What are some of the practical applications of these AI technologies in the military?
One example is AI-generated target effectors like Maverick, which prioritize and suggest actions on targets. Another is using AI to track and target enemy ships based on intelligence tips, significantly speeding up response times.
It seems like AI is not only enhancing current military capabilities, but also making older weapons more effective. How are these technologies received by military leaders?
Military leaders, including Joint Chiefs Chairman General C.Q. Brown Jr., see AI as essential to maintaining an edge over adversaries. They stress the importance of staying ahead in AI development to ensure U.S. superiority.
There's also a push from Capitol Hill to invest more in AI. What are the specifics of this initiative?
A bipartisan group of senators, led by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, has recommended a $32 billion investment over the next 3 years. This funding would support AI research, testing standards, and development across various sectors, including defense and healthcare.
That's a significant investment. It shows a strong commitment to integrating AI into critical areas. Any final thoughts on this, Joanne?
The integration of AI into warfare is a double-edged sword. While it enhances capabilities and deterrence, it also raises ethical and safety concerns. Ensuring responsible use and maintaining human oversight are crucial.
Absolutely. It's a complex but vital area to navigate. Let's move on to our next article. Next, we'll dive into a report from The Guardian about Palantir's first ever AI warfare conference. Stay tuned. Our next article from The Guardian gives us an inside look at Palantir's first ever AI warfare conference. Joanne, what can you tell us about it?
The conference, held on May 7th and 8th in Washington, D.C., was called the AI Expo for National Competitiveness. It gathered America's military-industrial complex, top tech companies, and military contractors to discuss AI's role in modern warfare.
That sounds intense. Who were some of the key figures at the event?
Notable attendees included former Google CEO Eric Schmidt, Palantir CEO Alex Karp, CIA Deputy Director David Cohen, and former Joint Chiefs Chairman Mark Milley. They discussed the future of war and the role of AI.
What was the general tone of the conference?
The tone was quite divided. Some saw war as a matter of money and strategy, while others saw it as a matter of death and human cost. Karp was particularly provocative, emphasizing the need to scare our adversaries to death.
Karp is known for his controversial views. What specific points did he make at the conference?
Karp argued that the U.S. needs to dominate AI to deter adversaries like China and Russia. He suggested that superior AI capabilities could prevent wars. He also criticized peace activists and emphasized the need to sell wars domestically.
That's quite a stance. How did other panelists respond to his views?
Milley became more bombastic, defending past U.S. wartime actions and emphasizing the harsh realities of modern warfare. Schmidt focused on the importance of drones and automation, while Cohen highlighted the need for humility given recent failures.
Were there any discussions about the ethical implications of AI in warfare?
Yes, but it seemed peripheral. One panel on civilian harm mitigation discussed how AI can identify civilian areas to minimize collateral damage, but ultimately the decisions were left to human operators.
It sounds like there were stark contrasts in how participants viewed the role of AI. Any notable moments from the conference?
One memorable moment was when Karp described peace activists as war activists and insisted that successful domestic promotion of war is crucial. Another was an attendee likening himself to Oppenheimer, reflecting the ethical weight of their work.
It must have been a surreal experience. What's your takeaway from this event?
The event showcased the significant divide between technological advancement in warfare and the ethical considerations it raises. It underscored the need for ongoing discussions about the responsible use of AI in military contexts.
A very thought-provoking topic. Thanks for the insights, Joanne. Let's move on to our next article. Next, we'll discuss an AI robot named Sophia giving a commencement speech at Uville University. Stay tuned for the details from USA Today. Our next article from USA Today is about an AI robot named Sophia giving the commencement speech at Uville University. Joanne, what's the story here?
Uville University in Buffalo, New York, chose Sophia, an AI robot developed by Hanson Robotics, to deliver the commencement speech at their spring ceremony. This decision was part of the university's effort to embrace technology.
That's quite unconventional. How did the university introduce Sophia to the graduates?
Before Sophia addressed the graduates, the university made a Facebook post announcing that they were embracing technology by having Sophia as the speaker. The speech was delivered in an interview-style discussion with John Risk, the Student Government Association president.
Interesting approach. What did Sophia talk about during the commencement speech?
Sophia introduced herself, discussed her development, and shared general insights commonly found in commencement speeches. She emphasized themes like embracing lifelong learning, being adaptable, pursuing passions, taking risks, fostering meaningful connections, making a positive impact, and believing in oneself.
How did the students react to having an AI robot as their speaker?
The reaction was mixed. Some students created a petition on change.org to replace Sophia with a human speaker, arguing that the commencement speaker should reflect their education and human experiences.
What was the university's reasoning behind choosing Sophia?
Benjamin Grant, the vice president for student affairs, explained that the university chose Sophia to align with their annual theme focused on artificial intelligence. They wanted to further the conversation on AI and felt Sophia was a fitting representative.
Did the university offer any alternatives for students who didn't want to participate in the AI-led ceremony?
Yes, the university offered a traditional-style commencement ceremony led by their chief mission officer for those who felt uncomfortable. However, all registered students eventually chose to attend the ceremony featuring Sophia.
That's a thoughtful approach. Any final thoughts on this event?
This event highlights the evolving role of AI in various sectors, including education. It also underscores the mixed feelings people have about AI, reflecting both excitement and concern.
Indeed. It's a fascinating glimpse into how technology is changing traditional practices. Let's move on to our next article. Next, we'll discuss recent departures from OpenAI and why former employees can't talk about their experiences while the new ChatGPT release can. Stay tuned for insights from Vox.com. Our next article is from Vox.com, covering recent resignations at OpenAI and the restrictive NDAs that former employees face. Joanne, what's the situation here?
OpenAI recently announced ChatGPT 4.0, which can now talk like a human. However, this news was overshadowed by the resignations of co-founder Ilya Sutskever and Jan Laika, leaders of the Super Alignment team.
That's significant. Why are these resignations causing such a stir?
The resignations have raised questions because former employees are unusually silent. It's now known that OpenAI's offboarding agreements are highly restrictive, including lifetime non-disclosure and non-disparagement clauses.
So, these NDAs prevent former employees from criticizing or even acknowledging their existence. How does this affect their vested equity?
If departing employees refuse to sign or violate these agreements, they can lose all vested equity, which is a significant part of their compensation. This effectively silences them.
That's a harsh policy. Has OpenAI commented on this practice?
After the initial publication, OpenAI stated that they have never canceled any vested equity for not signing an NDA. However, sources suggest this might be a recent policy change.
It's ironic for a company named OpenAI to have such restrictive policies. How does this align with their mission of transparency and accountability?
It doesn't. Despite their stated commitment to building AI in a transparent and accountable manner, these NDAs suggest a move towards greater secrecy, especially given the recent departures of their top safety team members.
With these resignations and the restrictive NDAs, what does this mean for OpenAI's future and its mission?
The mission to build artificial general intelligence remains, but these changes indicate a potential shift away from prioritizing safety and external oversight, raising concerns about the company's true priorities.
This situation underscores the challenges of balancing innovation with transparency and ethical responsibility. Any final thoughts, Joanne?
It's a reminder that as powerful as AI can be, the governance and ethical frameworks around its development are equally crucial. The contradictions in OpenAI's approach need careful scrutiny.
Absolutely. It's a complex issue with far-reaching implications. Let's move on to our next article. Next, we'll discuss the unsettling discovery that Slack messages are being used for AI training. Stay tuned for insights from Ars Technica. Our next topic is from Ars Technica about Slack users discovering their messages were used for AI training. Joanne, what's going on here?
Slack users were upset to find out that their data, including messages, content, and files, could be used to train Slack's AI models. This policy wasn't clearly communicated, leading to significant backlash.
That sounds like a major privacy concern. How did Slack respond to these revelations?
A Slack engineer clarified in a blog post that Slack doesn't train its large language models on customer data. However, the privacy policy was vague, causing confusion and concern among users.
So the policy wasn't clear enough. What are users asking for now?
Users, including engineer Gergely Oros, are calling for a clear update to Slack's privacy policy to explicitly state how data is used. They want this clarification in the official policy, not just in blog posts.
Did Slack agree to update their privacy principles?
Yes. A Salesforce spokesperson confirmed that Slack would update the privacy principles to clarify that customer data is not used to develop or train large language models. They emphasized that Slack AI uses off-the-shelf models that don't retain customer data.
Despite this clarification, it seems there's still a lot of dissatisfaction. Why?
Many users feel they were opted into data sharing without explicit consent, and that the communication around these policies was inadequate. This has led to a broader mistrust.
It makes sense that users want clear and direct communication, especially about something as sensitive as their data. How did Slack handle the backlash?
Slack HQ responded on social media, explaining that users could opt out of data sharing for machine learning models used for recommendations and search results. They also emphasized that customer data belongs to the customer.
Did this response address all the users' concerns?
Not entirely. While Slack clarified some points, many users remained critical, feeling the explanations didn't fully address their concerns about transparency and consent.
This situation highlights the importance of clear and transparent communication about data usage policies, especially with the rise of AI.
Absolutely. It's a reminder for all companies to handle user data responsibly and transparently. Let's move on to our next article. Next, we'll discuss how GPT-4o's Chinese token training data is polluted by spam and porn websites. Stay tuned for insights from MIT Technology Review. This is the last article of the episode. It's from MIT Technology Review, discussing issues with GPT-4o's Chinese token training data. Joanne, can you give us an overview?
Sure, John. The article highlights how GPT-4o's tokenizer includes 200,000 tokens, with about 25% in non-English languages. However, the Chinese tokens are significantly polluted with spam and pornographic content, unlike tokens in other languages.
That's concerning. How does this affect the performance of the language model in Chinese?
According to researchers, the polluted Chinese tokens suggest the training data wasn't properly cleaned. This impacts the quality of responses in Chinese, as the model might generate or be influenced by inappropriate content.
What did the researchers find in the longest tokens for other languages like Hindi and Bengali?
Didi Das from Menlo Ventures noted that tokens in Hindi and Bengali reflect common terms and discussions in those languages without the spam issues seen in Chinese. This likely reflects cleaner training data sources for these languages.
Why do the Chinese tokens have such a high level of spam and inappropriate content?
Researchers believe it's due to websites hijacking unrelated content to boost spam messages, especially for pornography and gambling. These messages are inserted into content farms and even legitimate websites to circumvent spam filters and appear in search results.
Was there any indication that the training data for English tokens was similarly affected?
No, the English tokens appear to be clean, suggesting the data cleaning process for English was more thorough. The issue seems to be specific to the Chinese data.
How might this issue be addressed to improve the quality of the Chinese tokens?
The researchers recommend a more rigorous data cleaning process for Chinese training data to remove spam and inappropriate content. This would involve filtering out polluted data and ensuring the remaining data is relevant and appropriate.
It sounds like a lot of work, but necessary for maintaining the integrity of the model. Any final thoughts on this, Joanne?
It's a reminder of the complexities in training large language models and the importance of high-quality, clean data. Ensuring this will be crucial for the model's effectiveness and reliability across different languages.
Absolutely. Thank you for the detailed insights. And with that, we wrap up this episode. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Joanne and Jessica, for your valuable contributions. See you next time.
Thank you, John. Looking forward to our next discussion.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.